Hello traders, it's another week and we've got more challenges for you. So once again, hello traders, I'm Simon from FTMO, and what we are doing is that we are funding successful traders that are able to pass our evaluation process. And this evaluation process is consisted of two steps, which is the challenge and the verification phase. So now we are gonna look at some accounts that have been able to pass these stages. So first we are gonna look at two successful challenge accounts, and then we are gonna look at two successful verification accounts. The first challenge that I got here is for $100,000, and the balance curve overall looks quite good. You know, there was a small dip in the beginning of the challenge, but otherwise it's just going upwards, and that's just great. What strikes me the most in the trading objectives section is that he used 22 trading days, not just those 10 trading days. So this trader was probably really patient. Other than that, there is really nothing that special. He respected the max daily loss and even the max loss very nicely, even made $63 more than he was required to, so that's quite cool. Now he made 111 trades using 232 lots, so that's just fine. The win rate though is not really that super great, it's just 36%. But what compensates for that is this relatively high risk-reward ratio, which is 3.09. So as you already know, that essentially means that he is not winning quite that often, but when he wins, he really makes some huge profits. And I want to look at this strategy with this win ratio and this risk-reward ratio in our equity simulator. So let's run like 1000 iterations here. Just run it real quick. And as you can see, in all cases, every curve simulates essentially one run. So in all cases, he is profitable. So this is still quite good strategy. Now regarding the daily summary, you can see that it is quite consistent, maybe with an exception of these two trades and maybe even like probably these two. But other than that, you can see that there are nice profits, even some losses distributed quite nicely across all days. So he is very likely very consistent with his trading. Also, you can see that he is using around the same lot size during the entire period of the challenge. So yeah, it's really distributed quite nicely. Now I am in the trading journal, and you know, I cannot really see a clear pattern here. He is not necessarily a day trader as far as I can see, since he is paying those swaps here. He is not specializing in any particular instrument. He is trading Forex, he is trading indices, so there's that. Now also you can see that he is not risking, or rather he is not opening some huge volumes per one position, so it pretty much confirms his consistency. And in the last section down here, you can see that he is profiting mostly on his longs, a little bit on his shorts, but otherwise still pretty similar, to be honest. And regarding the volume that he made most money on, he made most of his profits on 1.5 lots, and then on 3, 2, and 1. And kinda interestingly enough, when he opened 4 lots, or even like 3.9 lots, he didn't do very well. So maybe this trader is doing better when he is trading small volumes. And in the symbols, you can see that he is basically trading just a bunch of Forex pairs, a little bit of some indices here and there, but otherwise it's mostly Forex. Okay, so this one was really nice, so let's look at another one. So I don't think that we necessarily had in our successful challenges overview a challenge account that was finished with just 11 trades, or even like 10, because like 10 trades is bare minimum, since you have to trade for those 10 trading days, right? So as you can see, even if you are trading using just like 11 trades, you can pass the challenge without any big problem. Now to evaluate his trading objectives, you know, nothing really that special. He finished the challenge in 10 trading days, and the max daily loss was respected quite nicely. It was basically just 1/5 of his max daily loss limit that he reached right here. And regarding the max loss, it's even lower than that. So most of the time he was truly at positive numbers. So that's just great. So once again, I said that he used just 11, or rather opened just 11 trades using just 4.21 lots. So that's really not that much. But you know, this is after all $10,000 account, so that's sort of to be expected. And his win rate is 45%, so that's not really that great. But with a risk-reward ratio of 3.58, it's still quite nice strategy. But you know, he did just execute those 11 positions, so maybe his risk-reward ratio and win rate can be a little bit misleading, since you probably would need some, let's say, bigger batch of positions to really evaluate these numbers properly. Either way, let's look at the daily summary, and honestly, it looks just fine to me. It's really consistent. He is using the same position size throughout the challenge, that is 0.3 lots, and well, he used here a little bit more and even here, but those are essentially his two positions, using probably the same volume here. Now his trading journal is a little bit empty, of course, since it is just 11 positions. All of these can be fit right here, and you can see that he is trading just Forex with the same volume here. Well, here he went a little bit higher, also here, but other than that, he is using just 0.3. Well, he is using 0.5 here, but it's just really consistent, honestly. Now I suspect that he is mostly a day trader. You know, he held this position overnight, but of course, I don't know the strategy of this trader, so I have no idea what is behind those trades. Now down here, you can see that he made even profits on selling and buying. Basically, it's pretty much the same number. And most of his profits were made by opening just one lot. So that was this one position right here. And other than that, he made profits on the rest, of course. And his absolute most profitable instrument is just British pound and Japanese yen. Okay, so there wasn't really that much that I could comment on, but you know, it is more interesting since he did execute just those 11 trades. So you can clearly see that you don't have to open like 200, 300 or even like 1,000 positions to pass the challenge. Okay, so now let's look at the verification accounts. So this one is for $100,000, and right away you can see that the balance most of the time was in negative numbers, which is not really that great, but in the end he still managed to struggle his way out and just make the profit target of $5,000. Now I keep on repeating this point, you know, on the verification the profit target is just 5%. We want to make it a little bit easier for you guys, so there's that. Now to expand further on his trading objectives, he came a little bit close to hitting his max daily loss. You can see that he still had a reserve of like $710 here, and regarding the max loss, it wasn't really that close. In the statistics, you can see that he executed 118 positions using 237 lots. His win rate is 44%, so he could still perhaps improve that, but with risk-reward ratio of 1.47, it's still good enough. Now in the daily summary, you can see that he was being more conservative at the start of the verification phase, because like right here, he just opened like 4 positions with 8 lots, which is not that much, honestly. Then he went a little bit higher and then even higher than that. And this was probably his maximum right here. And most of his profits were stacked at the end of the verification. So that's exactly the story behind this account. He basically was at negative the whole time, and then he struggled his way out right here and right here. Now to briefly go over the trading journal, I can see that he is mostly trading just Forex pairs, that is Euro USD, British Pound USD, and Euro and Japanese Yen here. He is using those stop losses, he is using those profit targets, so he is managing his risk quite nicely here. And other than that, you can see that he is using basically the same lot size for every position right here. Here it's a little bit higher, but really not that different. And finally, down here you can see that he is making profits mostly on buying, a little bit on selling, and right here I cannot really estimate which was his most profitable volume, but certainly he lost most of his money on 1.95 lots. And regarding the symbols that he traded, truly it was just Forex, so no commodities, no indices, no crypto, etc. And most of his money was made using Canadian dollar and Japanese yen right here, and US dollar and Japanese yen right here. Okay, so this is it for this account. You know, it's always nice to see that even though someone is struggling, he is able to get out of it, and in the end he successfully emerges victorious. And now let's move to the last account. So this one is for $50,000, and right away you can see that he made some huge dip in his balance from the start, but then from his 40th trade he was just in positive and he was making those profits, and he successfully finished it. This trader was probably being a little more patient since he used those 13 trading days instead of bare minimum of 10, like you can see here. And regarding the rest of the trading objectives, there is really nothing that special that I should probably touch here. In the statistics, you can see that he executed 178 trades using 310 lots, and his win rate is quite high. It's almost 62%, but his average risk reward ratio is just 0.87. So that's not really that great, but you know, let's open it in our equity simulator. Okay, so let's run here like 1000 iterations, and voila. Well, you can see that even though the risk reward ratio is not really that super high, it is still quite nice strategy in the long run. Now let's scroll through his daily summary real quick. Well, I can still see that he was being more conservative at the start of the verification. Then he decided to use this huge volume, which was basically like more than a third of his entire volume opened, and he made this nice profit on that, so that's great. But that is probably still more risky than we would like to see. But you know, it worked out in the end for him, so that's fine. And at the end he traded some more, made some more profit, so from that point on it was more consistent. So if I had to choose one thing that I wouldn't really like to see, it's this trading day and using this huge volume, since you know, in the end it worked out for him and that's great. But it could also go against him, and in that case it would probably result in violation of the verification. Now in the trading journal I can see just a bunch of stuff. He is using quite similar volume for all of these instruments, but he is trading Forex, he is trading indices, he is trading gold, so he is trading it all except for like crypto. But either way, he is setting those stop losses here, so he is managing his risk probably quite nicely. And other than that, he is being mostly a day trader here. Well, he is paying swaps here. Here he actually was paid a swap. But yeah, mostly probably he is a day trader. And now in the final section down here, he made most of his money on buying, a little bit on selling in total. His most profitable volume was on 5 lots, and most of his losses were made on 1 lot. From this chart here, you can see that he traded truly just a bunch of stuff, commodities, Forex, even those indices. So most of his profits were made using, or rather trading gold, and then these 2 indices. And he didn't really do that well on Forex. So if this trader didn't trade Forex at all, he would have more easy time passing the verification. Okay, so this is it for this one. We will see these 2 last verifications on their FTMO accounts. And yeah, so as always traders, if you have any questions whatsoever, and if you have any feedback whatsoever, you can leave it down in the comment section. And you can also hit us up on the live chat, which is available to you at all times on our website. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our FTMO YouTube channel and follow FTMO on social media. And as always, trade safe.